3 o'clock, so I'll call this meeting to order, meeting of May 23rd. And we'll ask for a roll call. Oh, commissioners, please remember to turn on your speaker when you're speaking and turn it off when you're not. So Janie, could we have a roll call? Here.
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 We have a quorum.
All right, I want to thank everybody for coming, especially to the chambers. This is great having everybody here. So if you'll all join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, hopefully everybody had a chance to go over the minutes. And if you've had an opportunity and are satisfied, I'll accept a motion to accept the minutes.
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes.
All right, is there a second?
I'll second it.
All right. It's been moved and seconded to accept the minutes. Are there any discussion, corrections, or changes?
I just noticed that there was a space where the two commissioners' names were left off, but I can't remember who those two commissioners were. on one of them.
Tim, I did not understand you. You said something was left off.
Yeah, there's a part where the commissioners' names who motioned for something were not listed. I'm looking it up now.
Okay, he's looking it up.
Oh, it had to do with the Young Eagles event under new business.
Oh, I see it.
Oh, I see. Do you see that, Janie, on the second page under new business? The Young Eagles, it'd be the third paragraph, Commissioner blank, 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 seconded by Commissioner blank, blank, blank. Was it your intention to fill that in later? Okay, will you research that and fill that in appropriately? Okay, so with that addition, is there any more corrections or deletions? Seeing none, all those in favor of accepting the minutes as corrected, say aye.
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 Are there any opposed? The minutes are accepted. All right, consideration of public comments. We still are offering a hybrid meeting, which means we can accept comments via email or telephone. And so I will ask Janie if we received any requests for comments?
No, sir, we did not.
Okay. With that, we will go into reports. We'll start with business staff report, and I understand that Bennett could not make it, so his surrogate, Doug Breckenridge, is going to fill in for him.
Well, I'm sorry I'm not going to be as lively as Bennett on this, but I'll do my best with it. Currently, business retention and expansion in the industrial park, Allo Communications groundbreaking occurred. Staff participated in the Allo Communications groundbreaking. Allo is a fiber optic network, internet, television, and phone system that will be building high-speed fiber optic internet to the Kingman and the Kingman Industrial Park. This is one item I'm happy to say that our tenants and our customers inside the industrial park have been requesting. So this is very much needed. We're all really excited about it. And I'll be honest with you, I'm excited about it too, because that means I'll finally get some decent speed internet up at the airport. Economic Development's 2021 annual update. Between all the other activities and projects that our economic development anticipates to have, this report complete and ready for distribution in June. This is their annual report, just stating about items that they have, mile markers they have met, improvements they have done inside the industrial park and throughout the city. They've been working for about at least a month on this. I know that Bennett's been hounding me for my information for the airport for a while. Kingman Industrial Park Business and Retention and Expansion Survey. Staff continues to visit with businesses and at their convenience for the 2022 Kingman Industrial Park Survey. Staff will be able to meet with Medusa Farms, Goodyear's, or staff was able to meet with Medusa Farm, Goodyear, Coeur d'Alene, Window Company, and Accor Engineering. This is just a survey that they do to make sure that we're fulfilling some of the needs of the tenants and also find out what other needs they need in order to keep their business here and help expand it. For the current land sales in process, City Council has approved the 16.27 acres land sale to Big Industrial. That was the actual land sale where we had the burn pit located. So what ended up happening was Big Industrial agreed to purchase that land sale. In return, they had to conduct the land cleanup. So they will be cleaning up that area before they start actually building on that property. They will be using this property for the future expansions of their facilities at 4200 Industrial Park. The land sale will result in a net proceeds of $346,000. And then just additional updates, the East Portway project construction. This construction was completed on East Portway and Olympic to Flightline Drive. These roads were almost non-existent, severe potholes, asphalt has deteriorated, and now it is a brand new road. If you have not seen it, I recommend driving through it. It is nice, smooth, and comfortable now. It doesn't require any type of four-wheel traffic. So this road will also give a lot of those businesses in there access, more access, free movement, transportation of trucks, even all the way to Flightline Drive. We will be budgeting for next year for addressing the other two roads in that area. And what ends up happening is after we get the roads repaved and up to par, then we present that to the county for them to accept it inside of their pavement maintenance plan. But that is all that Bennett had at this time. Next month, we will have an update on the actual rail carts
Okay.
that come through.
Any questions for Mr. Breckenridge?
Just a comment, actually.
Right.
Yeah, it's amazing how Portway, I know the road is smooth and it looks new now, which is fantastic, but it changes the way all that looks. All these buildings look even newer now. They just have this appearance and feel. It's incredible what infrastructure does to the appearance overall of everything around there. It's quite a difference. So I'm so glad that was done.
Can't have curb appeal without a curb.
That's exactly right.
All right. Any additional questions? All right. Let's continue on with airport staff report. Mr. Breckenridge.
Okay, the update on the 204,000 square feet lease parcel right next to the FBO, Arizona. We have been still in conversations with Jet Yard and the actual build out and lease of that facilities. We have another meeting coming up tomorrow with them, just discussing what's considered improvement, what's not considered improvement, and just start having that conversation of when they could begin construction. So we're still looking forward to anticipating with this. They are expecting, and including our other aircraft storage, companies are expecting an increase in aircraft here in the very near future due to the pilot shortage. We are already receiving some of those aircraft. I'm really happy about that because right now, just by giving you a really rough guesstimate, we're probably looking anywhere from 40 to 50 additional aircraft. But we will find that out as this finalizes. And then I'm pretty sure as time goes on with the pilot shortage still causing a massive increase in aircraft that do not have pilots, that we will start seeing a further increase in aircraft storage. So we are anticipating that. And I know our tenants are gearing up to expect that increase in aircraft storage.
And Mr. Breckenridge, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we have noticed new jets flying in, and I've getting texts all the time, people asking what's going on. I said they're just being stored probably, but are these on the main tarmac areas now? Are some of the new areas that have been cleaned up and prepped out there being used yet? A while back that took place last year, I think.
No, not yet at this
Okay.
time. They're still going through the process of sealing up these aircraft and getting them ready for storage.
Okay.
Now, I am planning to have a meeting next month with the storage facility to address these additional storage areas and kind of line it out, address their concerns, or start delineating which company could park where, just to help them out, because keep in mind, at the end of the day, our staff has to go through and count all these aircraft when it comes from billing. So we wanted everybody to have really nice delineated lines where they store their aircraft, and start as soon as possible, possibly freeing up some of that additional asphalt for future aircraft coming in that will be stored at our facilities.
Okay. Thank you.
While we have a pause, do you have any idea how many jets we currently have?
Last count, we had around 261 jets. And over the past week, I know we've brought in around additional 7, and we're expecting some more to come in.
So right now, probably 268?
268 if I have to give you an estimate right now.
Okay, thank you.
So the next one is airport projects, taxiway Bravo. I know this has been something that a lot of people have been asking about. Spoke with our engineers. They're still questioning the asphalt prices. People are stating that asphalt's either too high, or they're not going to be able to guarantee a long-term steady price on the asphalt. I spoke to another facility or another agency that actually deals with these large projects, and they're stating the exact same thing, that some of these other airports that are going out there and bidding on asphalt projects, it's coming back so high that it's all but stopped it. They have to go back and review the actual designs or figure out how they could shave some of the costs. So we're still sitting on this. We're waiting for the prices to really stabilize. I'm not a big fan of waiting for the prices to go down. So we're going to let them stabilize, and then from there go out for bid and see if we could get something within our budget on that project. For the Pappy project, we have written an RFP for that project. We're right now going through the contract and hopefully get that out here within a month or so, to install brand new Pappies on the primary runway at the airport. That was an ADOT grant, and the upside is that was 100% funded for ADOT, so I was really excited about that. We didn't have to pay for our 10% of the $500,000. Terminal painting and landscaping. We're still waiting to actually get a price back from our JOC job order contractor. They did state when they originally came out, reviewed the area, that it may take them a while. They're still extremely busy. We did budget for this for next year, and we're continuing to follow up with them on that project. A lot of it's actually looking at to be roughly around 2 companies that are part of the JOC that will be taking this on. One company to actually handle the drainage, and another company to actually handle the beautification on the side. For the actual master drainage study, CNS Engineering, they are still kind of working on it, a little bit of it at a time. We're really trying to tie this into the actual industrial park master development. Once again, just to state, whatever you do outside of the airfield, especially on the southeastern side, all that water comes into the main part of the airfield. So what we're trying to do is run that side by side with the master and drainage study, the industrial parks development plan, and the actual master drainage study together. So whatever adjustments we foresee in the future inside the industrial park will not, how could I say, negatively impact our adjustments that are actually occurring on the airfield. So we're trying to link those two together and get those projects working in tangent and communicating with each other. For the apron painting, we did provide some facts and figures on our actual painting, how many linear feet we need for the lead-in lines going into the ramp, along with the aircraft parking boxes around the airfield, all of them this time. And we're waiting to hear back. Public Works is working with the county. The county has a little bit larger machinery, and we'll be able to get that done for us. So we're going to be picking up the paint, the beads, and a few other items, and the county's going to loan their equipment, or they're going to send their people in to actually assist with painting it. And this will be done twice as fast. And it's a lot easier to paint a 1,000-foot line in a machine than actually sitting there with a push cart walking the entire time. So that's still moving forward. Cover tie-down lights and T-hanger lights. We installed some additional cover tie-down lights. As I said, if you guys can provide us any input on that, on how the lights are actually functioning at night, please let us know. We'll be more than happy to take it and make it, how could I say, as perfect as we can right now, so we don't have to revisit this in the future. For the T-hangers, we're still ordering lights for the T-hangers. We are converting the older lights from the older halogen lights to brand new LEDs. And then we're also updating the photo cells on those lights so they'll turn on as soon as it starts getting dark. Any questions on those projects?
Yeah, on the lights, I was out there last night after dark, and they're a big improvement, big improvement. I think we could use probably one more, and that would probably be sufficient lighting. And some of them aren't directed maybe as appropriately as they could be. But it's much, much better.
Thank you, but we still want to make it as perfect as possible.
Yeah.
I have a goofy question. Is there like a bulk amount of asphalt that lowers a price, or is it just based off of like oil prices and stuff? Is that what we're waiting for to stabilize?
A lot of the asphalt is based upon the actual oil prices due to the fact that you do have tar, you do have a liquid asphalt mix, all that goes into it. And if you take a look at the actual cost of crude oil, it is all over the place right now. It's going up and again, it's going down. Fortunately, we're not at that point to where some of the departments within or divisions within Public Works have came across to where their quotes are only honored for a couple of days before they expire. But with these prices, due to the fact they're high, and how the prices are going up and down with crude oil, we're still terrified that if we have to look at a large-scale project like this that goes, let's say, 3 to 4 months out, that those prices will not be able to be honored by the company.
I was kind of wondering if there was some way to maybe see if there's other projects that could use the same labor and supply, and see if there's any way to mix those and see if we could get a reduced price on something. Because I know sometimes you can like kind of merge projects and get reduced prices on things because of, you know, a longer term period, but that was just something I was thinking about.
No, that's actually a good point. If you have similar projects, you do, if you can, run them roughly side by side. That can reduce your mobilization costs and bring down the project's cost. This one, on the other hand, this is a grant obligated project, so we have received the final ADOT grant, so we have roughly 2 years to get this project moving. And it's not uncommon to have ADOT sit there asking you what's the status of the project, how soon can you get this moving, because it is on their books too. So they want to get that off as soon as they possibly can. And we've explained to them about our current situation. They said, just please, as soon as you get to a position where you can move this forward, please start moving it forward. But yeah, if we had another project that's moving side by side, we'll try to tie them both in. The closest project that we do have in that area at this time is going to be the Dross project, but we're probably not looking at starting that construction for at least another year, year and a half, possibly further out, just due to the size and scope of that project.
Thank you.
For actual grant status with FAA, ADOT coordination status, for the ARPA grant, we are still waiting to get some facts and figures back from the upgrades to the air conditioning system inside of the airport terminal building. That was something that was desperately needed. And what we're going to end up doing, or at least present this to the FAA, is using that ARPA grant to fund that project or reimburse us on that project. When we went through their question and answer session, they said you could use it for HVAC systems as long as you use it for a new system and it separates the building, and you do have some type of, how could I say, biohazard mitigation from germ spreading. And in this case, we are requesting that to be actually placed into the project, and that will allow that project to be funded using these type of federal grants. Because we are honest with you, we are trying to separate some of this air conditioning. We just had one unit covering the entire building. So we're trying to put something in there where we could split the building in half to where we'll have one unit running strictly the restaurant and then another unit focusing on the larger system inside the terminal building and inside the pilot's lounge and FedEx. For runway 1735 and taxiway Charlie, P608 application, it's probably better to call it a pavement management plan or pavement maintenance plan. This is funded by ADOT. This plan was accepted by City Council. ADOT is picking up 100% of the engineering and the construction management side. We just had to put in 10% share, which is, I want to say it was around $43,000 on our end, from us to actually pick up the construction side. Now, this project is going to be possibly a month long. We are working with the ADOT project managers. We're trying to get this done without too much impacts to aircraft flights. We may have a few days where we're going to have both runways shut down, because this will involve crack sealing runway 17 and taxiway Charlie. This will involve joint repair to both those surfaces, and then they're going to go back over and they're going to place basically a seal coat over the top 608 application. And once they get done with that, they're going to have to come back, put down some temporary markings while the seal coat cures, and then a little bit further down the road, we're going to get brand new markings on this surface. We are hoping for this project to start around July period, but there's not a 100% guarantee on that. This is coming through ADOT. This week, we are expecting ADOT to come out along with some contractors to review the actual surface for their bid process. So don't freak out too much, and we'll keep everybody in the loop via NOTAMs whenever we actually go through that bid process and start having the contractors and engineers and our staff out there reviewing the surface so ADOT could get an actual proper bid back.
I have a quick question for you.
Yes, sir.
What's the plan for the cracks in the apron?
I've requested in a budget for additional $30,000 for next year. We went through our $20,000. Well, it was actually a little bit over. It was around $22,000. We only had budget for $20,000 last year for the crack seals inside the pavements on the apron. We kind of took it from another project to kind of fill that in, get as much as we can out of it. I requested additional $30,000 to address the remainder of the cracks, and that should be able to hold us off for another year or two, or 3 years, really. We're looking at 3 years before we go through the process of trying to rehab or resurface the entire apron.
Okay.
Now, that project right there, that may be phased out just due to the size of it, but it is definitely needed, and we have expressed that to ADOT and the FAA that we're still going to move that forward.
Manager Breckenridge, back to 1735. having just done the primary runway 3 and 2-1, is it going to need to shut that runway down as well?
Yes, sir. The work will start occurring into the runway safety area. Give people a little input for the ones that may be listening that are not aviation oriented. You have a surface area that extends out goes from the center line out past the runway a certain amount of feet. This could be anywhere from 200 feet to 250 feet, and even larger airports, they go up to 300 feet. That area is designed in case of a pilot loses control, and they can't stay on the actual physical surface. Then they go off into the other runway or off into the ground, and it's supposed to be smooth, free of lips over 3 inches, humps, holes, so it will do minimum to no damage to your aircraft.
I understand that. Would it be possible to, because we've, taxiway Bravo crosses 1735, so that wouldn't be possible at all, but could there be back taxi situations where 3 and 2-1 would be possible to be used? I mean, we've got a number of flights that come in daily, UPS, FedEx. So it sounds like the only thing that would be able to continue operations would be care flight and emergency helicopters.
Thank you for, that's actually a very good question. I had to go back in my memory and remember what I put down on those notes, but I did ask for them to leave that taxiway that go up to our other runway 21, so on, open, so we had minimum amount of back taxiing as possible. There will be a small area at time where we will have to have some back taxiing. It's just the nature of how this airport's laid out. In those notes, I put as much as possible, please minimize the impact to day-to-day operations. And I have stressed that in each section where we went over either a taxiway intersection that will not be impacted by this, or not going to actually have the crack seal of the project conducted on, and including on the other runway where I said, look, if we can, let's keep these closures down at night. Let's shut it down at night and have it to where we could reopen it during the day. And they duly noted that, and they said, thank you very much. We'll review the process when this comes up with our engineers and see if this material can cure quick enough to where we could open up in the day, or without, how can we say, majorly impacting the price of this project. But I'm not a big fan of shutting down 2 runways for multiple days, so I really stressed that and said I want to keep these surfaces open. I want to minimize the impact to our actual pilots. The more confusion you have, the more likely you'll have an incident.
Thank you.
Manager Breckenridge, do we know about what dates this could be possibly yet? We have no idea, do we really?
They have not given us an actual date
Okay.
on the actual construction project, on the plans.
Do we have like a month maybe, or even
Well,
close?
my discussion with them, I asked them, I said, if they can do it this year, and they said that may not, or this fiscal year, and they said that may not be possible. I said, well, when can we do this? And they said probably mid-summer is what they're shooting for.
Okay.
It may go into late summer, but their ultimate goal is to get this done. So further discussion, this is all projections. They're saying they're hoping July.
Okay.
That is the date or the month they're hoping to begin this with.
All right, thank you.
For the draw site, I know this is very, very much looking forward to by several of our tenants. We actually signed the contract for pre-construction and design. The scope of this contract will go over further exploratory work, and we'll start working on getting a better idea of how much surface they don't need to remove, any additional type of contaminants inside of the ground underneath the pavement. And we'll start developing the actual plans for this project. This will be everything from staging to transport routes, to how they're going to have this stuff carried out to the landfill in Nevada. I'm very much looking forward to this. I'm very much looking forward to this. As I tell a lot of people, I really want to start selling that southern ramp. I want to get it operational. I think just right now, it being used as strictly as aircraft storage, it has better utility than that. And it just still kind of terrifies me a little bit of aircraft taxiing over some of those surfaces. So I'm very, very excited about it.
And Manager Breckenridge, I had a question. Is it, so a lot of the design work, I guess, you were talking about depth and what they're gonna do. They did a lot of core drilling and everything, so they already have this kind of mapped out, I assume, of what their, basically the scope is gonna be. Is that true?
It gave them a good foundation. There is some areas that they have to go back and finalize, because now when you get into the actual construction side, that's when you have to really delineate, here's how far you're gonna go down this section. Here's how far out you're gonna go. They had expressed some concerns where the old furnaces were. Speaking with them, they're talking about, there's still concrete down there. And one of the questions is it concrete or was it insulated with asbestos? If it is, that's gonna open up another little problem that they're gonna have to get around with, digging that out, properly containing it, and shipping it off. So the original phase helped us with dealing with the Department of Justice, but due to the fact this will be the actual design phase, they're gonna have to get very detailed with it, extremely detailed with it.
Okay, thank you.
For the actual FAA land release process, we are starting to see a little bit more forward momentum on this end. The Kaufman Associates is still working on a little bit of language that the FAA sent to us. But on the other big sides to this project, one is we are signing a contract with Kaufman and another firm to go after a Army Corps of Engineers determination when it comes to our stormwater. Due to how our stormwater is situated, all our water flows into Red Lake, which Red Lake does not go into any other additional navigable waterways. It doesn't go into any additional river systems. So we just need an update document stating that this is a closed basin, and what ends up happening is that further limits the amount of permits that we need. And with that, actual 404 determination will also help out with other projects that occur in the future inside the industrial park. So let's say if we get the land release finished within a year, then you want to start building a road in that section. That permit can be used to exempt that road from going through a 404 process. If you actually have somebody that wants to construct on that property, you could use that permit to say, hey, you do not have to meet a 404 compliance. And that permit will be on the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers website, so other people could take a look and grab it. The downside is that there were some permits that were already in the vicinity within the past 4 years, but there was a change, or 5 years, which there was a change in the definition of the actual 404 permits. So that immediately made those null and void to where we have to go out and obtain an additional or an updated actual determination by the Army Corps of Engineers. Apologize, I'm losing my voice. Also, going along with the project, we've received a draft scope of work for the Industrial Park Master Development Plan. We received that about a week ago. We took that plan and we sent that out to our Technical Advisory Committee. The Technical Advisory Committee consists of city engineers, public works. It consists of also our city economic development side. We also have reached out to the county. The county has been very good. County flood controls responded, county economics, the economic development, and then you also have the Public Works Department with the county. All of them have been sending in their information, including the fire chiefs have been sending in their information. Once we actually have that draft, we have a meeting with Kaufman Associates tomorrow. When we have that draft finalized, then we'll bring that in front of City Council for their approval, and we'll start moving forward with the Industrial Park Master Development Plan. Now, we've had some people sit back and ask, hey, when are you going to get us involved? There will be some sections where we will be getting outside parties involved to get their input on the actual development side of this project. Because nothing's better to get outside input, public input, especially from our industrial park developers and our other manufacturing industrial companies within the area. So that answers the next section also on the master development plan. For actual hangar wait list, the executive hangars, we have 5 of them. All 5 are occupied, and we also have 5 on the wait list. For the B and C T hangars, all 30 are occupied. We have 8 on the wait list plus 1 relocation. For the D hangars, we have 10 available, 10 occupied, 1 on the wait list. And one thing that we're trying to do right now is one of those hangars is being used by the airport for storage. We're going through the process of trying to clean that out and make that available for aircraft use very soon. That's something that we really want to target and get that done. We're trying to shoot that to get that done within the next couple of months.
What row is that one hangar in?
It's the one on the very southern end, or on the west side, on the very northern end. That's our hangar.
Is it a D?
It's
D
a D
row
hangar. It's a D
Okay.
hangar. What happened was that hangar right there actually, one of the doors do not open. There's another hangar that was being used for draw site storage. We've already contacted the company that's leasing that area for draw site storage. We're going to get them to move in and take over the hangar where both the doors do not open, and that will free up theirs. So we'll be able to open that up and get that one person off the wait list.
Good.
Oh, okay, so let me clarify. So right now, there are 2 D hangars that are not being used for aircraft storage.
Yes, one right now you cannot because the door will not open. There is no rail, it will not open. So we're gonna that was actually used by the airport authority at the time. That was used for storing supplies there. We're cleaning that out. And then we're gonna take the one that was used by the draw site people and we're gonna move them into that one. And we're gonna open that other one up for an actual aircraft.
Okay, other than those 2, are there any other B, C, or D, T hangars that are not being used for aircraft storage?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you.
All those are actually being used for aircraft storage.
Great, thank you.
And then for the cover tie downs, we only have 9 that are occupied. We still have 1 available. We have 0 people on the wait list. Any questions about the hangars? Okay, the actual budget, we are 83% through this year as of April 30th. Our total revenue so far have been $1,295,762. Total expenses has been $926,298. Breaking out the revenue, $1,156,486 revenue has been generated from the airport, whereas $137,901 or $501 has been generated through the industrial park. The actual expenses of the airport has, bless you, through the actual industrial park, or the airport expenses through the operations budget has been $910,016. So we've gone through 63.29% of our operating budget. For the industrial park, we spent $16,282. That's 22.2% of the industrial park's operating budget. For the fuel report, as of April, we've, for Jet A and Avgas total together so far this year has been $186,739.81. As we get closer to the end of this fiscal year, or when we come up towards the end of the fiscal year, I'm going to take both last year's and this year's fuel sales report, put them side by side for you to look at and see how much additional general aviation fuel sales we've had at the airport. Any questions?
Any questions at all? All right, Mr. Breckenridge, thank you very much for your very detailed report. All right, we will move on to new business, commission chair and vice chair positions. And before we go to that, I want to specifically welcome our new commissioner, Brandon, is it Lawmeister?
Lawmeister.
Lawmeister, all right. Well, welcome very much. We're glad to have you with us.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
That's great. All right. We need to select chair and vice chair for the remainder of this calendar year. So I will open up for discussion. Yes, sir.
Can I go ahead and nominate somebody?
You sure can.
All right. I will nominate Commissioner Amspoker for chairperson.
All right. With that nomination, do you have a nomination for a vice chair?
No.
Okay. All right. We have one nomination for Commissioner Amspoker for chair. Do you accept that nomination?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Are there any other nominations for chair or vice chair?
I'd like to nominate Mr. Stutzman, Commissioner Stutzman, for vice chair.
All right. John, do you accept that?
I accept.
All right.
Reluctantly.
Reluctantly, yeah. All right. Any other nominations? All right. Seeing none, this is going to be a very easy selection. All those in favor of Commissioner Amspoker for chair and Commissioner Stutzman for vice chair for the remainder of the year, say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? All right, and with that, I want to thank this commission for allowing me to be the chair for, well, a little over a year. We kind of went into the new year a ways, and it's been my pleasure to be on this commission and hopefully run some meetings where we got some business done and working with Mr. Breckenridge with the business of the airport. So thank you very much for allowing me that opportunity.
Thank you also very much.
Well, thank you, Paul.
Yeah.
Thank you. Is there any other discussion about commission chair? All right. Chairman Amspoker, you have an option. You can take over the meeting now, or you can let me close out this meeting.
Why don't you close out the last meeting?
All right,
So,
we'll do it that way. Thank you. All right, and that only leaves us with announcements. And we're going to start with Commissioner Lorimer.
I have nothing.
Okay, and before I forget, Tim, do you have any announcements?
No, I do not have any announcements at this
All right,
time.
Commissioner Gerlach, thank you very much. We'll go down to our newest commissioner. Anything you'd like to tell us?
I'm happy to be here.
Okay,
So planning on learning a lot. Other than that, I'm just kind of soaking in what's going on at the moment and trying to get up to speed.
okay, well, we're very glad for your donation of time to the community. It's
absolutely.
important.
Thank you. I
So-
appreciate it.
Commissioner Stutzman,
No announcements.
all right. And I always mess up Commissioner Gaines' last name. I had a workmate and good friend called Paul Grimes. and
Yes.
I have in the past called him Mr. Grimes. So Mr. Gaines,
No, no announcements from me.
all right. And Chairman Amspoker, any comments?
Yeah, I have a few things to say. If you looked at the agenda from the last meeting, we announced that we were having a Young Eagles rally. I'm happy to report that we flew 64 children around the skies of Kingman. It was very well attended, well received, no problems whatsoever. This past Saturday, the Experimental Aircraft Association had a adult learn to fly day, and we had 6 adults, all very interested. One gentleman is already a pilot, has more of a rusty pilot scenario, but he's got commercial rating, helicopter rating, as well as fixed wing, and about 850 hours. So he's wanting to get back involved in aviation. There were 3 in their 20s that are looking at a career possibly in aviation, but want to get started. And one gentleman that has taken some training in the past, never soloed, but wants to get back involved. And it was just a good experience. We will probably want to do that again, maybe in the fall.
All right, and I understand there's now a individual with a plane that's doing training at the airport.
That's correct. We have an instructor with, actually, she has 2 aircraft.
Awesome.
She's got a 150, a Cessna 150, and a Cessna 172.
We've needed that in this airport for a long time.
And she will rent out the planes if you're qualified to fly either of those, which is nice. And she was at this meeting Saturday to try to recruit customers.
Sure, that's great.
Commissioner Anspoker, yeah, that is we haven't eaten that for a long time. I have some other friends too that I'm going to reach out to that said they would love to take lessons, and now I don't think they really know what's going on at this moment with her and her 2 planes, and it could be, like as you said, rented out as well, so that's a big bonus. But I was going to mainly ask you, this Young Eagles, this is the first one that was, the terminal building was used for this as opposed to?
Yes, we used this.
How did that go? Yeah.
This went out of the terminal building. I think it was a big success, and it was successful also for the restaurant.
I was going to say they must have done pretty good, yeah.
We registered right inside the door. We had a classroom set up in the pilot's lounge. After their class, they were supposed to exit through the outside door of the pilot's lounge. That kind of broke down, but halfway through we fixed that.
Okay.
It went well. I was pleased, and I had 0 complaints from anyone.
So for future Young Eagles, probably the terminal building will be?
I think that'll be the case.
Okay.
It was on the agenda, and fortunately, the commission thought it was a good idea as well. And did you hear of any problems, Doug?
Well, the only thing that I saw was you guys need more pilots because you walked out around what, 2 p.m., 2:30
Normally I would have
p.m.?
been there. I couldn't swing it this time, so yeah. But
No, it was great participation. I'm happy you guys used the pilot's lounge in the terminal, and please do it again.
We will, I'm sure. I should announce that Commissioner Gerlach flew 21 kids. I flew 29 children, and one of the other EAA pilots, Joe Shelton, flew 14. So,
And for those of you who have not been at a Young Eagles flight, Dave did not fly all 29 at once.
that's true.
Is that all?
That's all,
Okay.
yes.
Commissioner Gaines, I wanted to ask you, how is the sail plane activity going at the airport?
So we haven't had anything here this year. The 2-place glider that we have is now down in Tucson. There's a kind of a national big push in the month of May to rack up these, it's called OLC online contest. You do these these flights, and you log your flights and record it. So these certain organizations, and one of my partners, or two of them are members down there, so they're trying to use this aircraft to do a lot of long flights in right now. And that's happened in May, and then June, it may be coming back, and last June, we had our little event here, so I'm not quite sure what's gonna happen this June, but we'll certainly let the members in the community know if we're gonna have some more activity. But last year was the first year to kind of get it going. We have a tow plane here now, and hopefully have more activity coming up shortly. But,
Great.
Yep.
I hope the best for the
Yep.
sailplane folks.
Yep.
All right, I have just one thing that I would like to direct to staff to look into. With the high-speed internet coming to at least the administrative building, could you, for a future agenda item, report back about the feasibility of having Wi-Fi connectivity at the hangars, the T hangars? And the reason I say that is most airports have that, and with the availability of Wi-Fi connected security systems, as well as other things that, for instance, you can turn on your engine heater from home to preheat your plane. Things like that you can do over your phone, but we haven't been able to enjoy that because we don't have Wi-Fi out there. So if you could look into that and report back to the commission, that'd be great.
We could definitely look into that.
All right, with that, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Nobody wants to go home.
I move we adjourn.
All right, I've got a motion
I second.
and a second for adjournment. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? We stand adjourned.